Right. Okay. So we'll start. So I'll just go through your balance scorecard that you have prepared, and then we can start the new lesson. We have in balance scorecard. Right. Okay. So here, the actual performance go with that. So in balance scorecard, you don't need to put the actual performance. Not bad, right? So actual performance you can't include, so no need to put the actual performance, just put up to the target performance, right? That is enough. And here, right, so those strategic objectives, initiatives, and target performance and measurements, those things are correct. But here, so each and every strategic objective that you have included, one initiative, one measurement, and one target performance, right? So no need to limit to one particular thing. So it means to achieve this particular strategic objective. Because strategic objective achieve karana, you can do different initiative. So here you have put for one strategic objective, one initiative, right? එතකොට එක initiative එකක් නිසා ඒකට දාලා තියෙන්නේ measurement එකයි. දැන් එකක් දාපු නිසා තමයි මේ හැම එකටම එක line එකක් විතරක් ගිහිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ. But if you have one strategic objective, you can put more initiatives. Not only learning and growth, you can growth internal business processes. Every person, if you want, you can put more initiatives. For initiatives, strategically, you are measure karanga, their measurements, government has command ideas, right? So other than that, this balance scorecard is fine. Groups kiya tipan, tunai dala tipan. So here also the same thing. You don't need to put the actual performance, right? Actual performance දාන්න බෑ. දාන්න බෑනේ. අපි දන්නේ නැහැ අපි හිතන්නේ දාන්න. So actual performance you don't need to put, and initiatives, right? Target performance measurements, those things are correct, but here also the same thing. For one particular strategic objective, you have listed the one. So to achieve one thing, අපි දැන් මොකක් හරි එක දෙයක් achieve කරන්න, let's say train employees, right? Conduct skills workshops for the staff. කියන එක විතරක් වදිනේ. There can be some more initiatives. Therefore, you can put more under one particular strategic objective. There can be more initiatives. Relevant to those more initiatives, let's say you have put 3 initiatives. There should be 3 measurements and the 3 target performance, right? This is also fine. We can see that. So for one particular strategic objective, so they have put 2 initiatives, right? Then right, it's better if you can include relevant to these 2 initiatives, 2 target performance, and 2 key performance indicators for the measurements, right? And year 1 targets, year 2 targets. Okay, fine. Right, this is good. So here only thing is you have to if you put more initiatives, relevant to those initiatives, there should be relevant measurements and the target performance as well. Okay, good. Okay, so the new lesson is decision making under risk and uncertainty. So under this particular lesson, there are 2 things that we have to do. Mainly, we have to prepare the payoff tables, and the second one is decision tree. So for the exam, there will be a question from decision tree or the payoff table. Or say it can be a payoff, sorry, the decision tree. ප්‍රශ්න දෙකක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, ප්‍රශ්න දෙකක් දෙකම එකතු වෙලා එක ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඇතුලේ එන්නත් පුළුවන්. Right. So first we go through the payoff table preparation today. So if we have time, we'll move to the decision tree as well, or else we can move to the decision tree next week. Right. So decision making under risk and uncertainty. Can someone tell what is risk? What is risk? Risk එකක් කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? cost එක නෑ. Risk සාමාන්‍ය ඔයගොල්ලෝ පාවිච්චි කරන ආසරේ ඔන්න මේක රිස්ක් එකක්. දැන් ලෙක්ස් එක පරක් වෙලා ආව රිස්ක් එකක්ද නැද්ද? මොකක්ද රිස්ක් එක? ඔබ ඇතුළට ගන්නවද? නැත්ද කියන එක රිස්ක් එක. ඒක මොකද ගන්න? ඈ? ගන්න දෙපා. එපා. ආව ගන්න එපා. මොකද්ද රිස්ක් එකක් කියන්නේ? Decision making under risk and uncertainty. Risk and uncertainty. Because risk is one thing, uncertainty is another. What is risk? එකක් කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? හරි දැන් ඉතින් කියන්නේ definition of the risk එකක් කියලා අපිට පාවිච්චි කරනවා risk කියන අවශ්‍ය. ඒක මම risk කියලා කියන්නේ. ඊළඟ risk එකක් කියන්නේ yes. Favorable or unfavorable situation, right? එතකොට favorable අපිට දෙපැත්ත හැම organizations එකක්ම favorable unfavorable කියලා categorize කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක උපකරණ risk එකක් කියන්නේ. It can be favorable or unfavorable, right? So normally we think that we take the word risk. Mostly we generally think is that risk is some kind of a negative thing, right? But it is not negative. It can be positive as well, favorable or unfavorable. But it should be we have to compare that situation with what we expect, right? If there are any kind of deviation from what we expected, that is a risk. It can be a favorable or unfavorable, right? Now උදේට ලෙක්ස් එකට යන්න එනවා බස් එක නැහැ. right? අපි expect කරන් යනවා we expected that on time there will be buses. That is what we expect. But actually it is not happen. So then it is what? Favorable or unfavorable? It is unfavorable, and when we compare with what we expected, there is a deviation. අපි expect කරපු එක මොන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි unfavorable පැත්තට උනේ. right? අපි මොකක් හරි expect කරනවාට වැඩිය හොඳ නැහැ. That is also a risky situation. But it is favorable. Right? So risk associated with positive and negative results, not only negative results. But सामान्य risk को आप negative पैर. Normally we say that if there is a high risk, there can be high return in investments. If there is low risk, then low return. Right? It means risk associated with both positive and negative things. Then what is uncertain? Uncertain means what? Now we know what is risk. It is a variation between what we expected and what we actually get. Then what is uncertain? Uncertainty, yes. Anyone? Risk definition is how it was that you know was now we know risk that risk is a variation from what we expected. It can be positive or negative, right? And we can measure the risk, right? It is a measurable variation of future events. So that we call it as risk. Can a risk measure right? For an example, just think if you are going to sit for the advanced management accounting examination and if you go through past results and you can have some kind of understanding that with your level, if you are going to sit for the exam, whether you can pass this or fail. Kaliන් papers ටිකක් බලලා informations gather කරලා and කලින් papers වලට කොයි වගේ results ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවද කියලා if you can gather those information and if you have some kind of experience on that, then you can measure it and you can say that okay, there is a 50% chance that I can pass this particular exam. ඒ වගේම 50% chance එකක් තියෙනවා මට fail වෙන්නත් ඒක දන්නේ නැහැ. So that is the probabilities that we are assigning to those situations, so that we call it as risk. Right? Risk means a measurable variation of uncertain future events. Okay, so that is the correct meaning of risk. Then uncertainty. Uncertain means we can't assign any probabilities and we can't measure those variations. Right? So it means, let's say you are the first batch that you are going to sit for the exam for the advanced management account. So applicable batch exam. Then you don't have any past papers, you don't have any model papers, past results or anything. Right? If you don't have any information about this particular situation, then you can't assign probabilities that you are going to pass for this particular this exam or fail. Probability assign that because you don't have information on this particular situation. So that we call it as uncertain. Right? So that is the major differences between risk and uncertainty. The common definition is the chance to exposure to adverse consequences of uncertain future events. So generally we consider this as the adverse consequences, but still there can be returns as well. So if in risky situations there can be risk and rewards. Risk and reward means an event can have positive and negative consequences. Both can be happen. And risk can present opportunities. So that is what we say that we need to take risk to improve our profits, to increase our performances, right? And risk means the condition in which there is a measurable variation of possible outcomes of an activity or event. So here mainly make it live there, pay. All right. How's everything? Right. So here, condition in which there is a measurable variation. So this is the main difference that we have between risk and uncertainty. Risk we can measure, and uncertainty is not possible to identify the outcomes or likelihoods, right? So there are no possibility to identify the probabilities of these situations, right? So the main reason is here we don't have much experience, so we don't have much information to provide some kind of a probability. Okay, so then risk and uncertainty. Risk, there are several possible outcomes, and uncertainty also there are possible outcomes. අපි outcomes ගන්න නැති එක වෙනම දෙයක්. but outcome එක මොකක්ද කියනවා in uncertain situation and risky situation both. So here use relevant experience and assign probabilities to the outcome. So we can assign probabilities based on the previous experience and the information, right? The experience එක අපේ තියෙන experience එකයි information එකයි gather කරලා මේ වගේම situation එකක් කලින් වෙලා තියෙනවා නම් ඒකේ මෙහෙම වුණා නම් මේකෙදි මෙහෙම වෙයි කියලා. So we can assign some probabilities. But in uncertainty we don't have experience. Sometimes we have very less experience, right? So because of that limited scope and less experience, we can't assign probabilities in uncertain situations. Then in risk situations, risk increases, the variability of return increases. කියන්නේ risk එක වැඩි වෙන්න return එක වැඩි වෙනවා. risk එක අඩු වෙනවා අපිට හම්බෙන return එක අඩු. හැමදාම මෙහෙම නෙමෙයි uncertain situations. So here uncertainty increases as project life increases. So that is why when it comes to the investment appraisals, we say that lesser the payback period is better rather than go for the longer payback periods, right? ඒ කියන්නේ project එකක් ගොඩක් අවුරුදු 10ක් කරනකොට තියෙන uncertainty එකයි අවුරුදු දෙකකින් තියෙන uncertainty එකයි වෙනස්. අවුරුදු දෙකක් ඇතුළත වෙන්න තියෙන දේවල් වලට වැඩිය අවුරුදු 10ක් ඇතුළත වෙන්න තියෙන දේවල් වැඩි. Can be positive or negative, but there's an uncertainty, right? Okay, so those are the differences. So risk and uncertainty is two different things, not the same. Risk we can calculate because we can assign probabilities. Uncertainty we can't assign probabilities. In risk situations we know the outcomes. Uncertain situations, even though we say we don't know the outcomes, mostly we can think that these kind of things can be happened. Either it can be a positive or negative, but generally we can't specifically identify this is the outcome, right? We can generally, we can have a broad idea, but we can't directly identify this will be happening because we don't have experience and we don't have any information, right? So then there are three different risk preferences, which means when we are going to take decisions. So here now in this particular lesson, decision making under risk and uncertainty, we are going to learn about how to take decisions under risk and uncertain situations. In risk and uncertain situations, if we take risky situations, there are three different risk preferences. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි decisions ගන්නකොට අපි risk එක ගන්න කැමති කෙනෙක්ද නැති කෙනෙක්ද කියන එක මත there are different risk preferences. Right? So one is risk seeker, risk neutral, and risk averse. A risk seeker is a decision maker who is interested in the best outcomes, no matter how small the chance that they may occur. Right? Risk seeker කෙනෙක් කියන්නේ so they are mainly focusing on the best outcomes, right? ඒක වෙන්න තියෙන chance එක ගොඩක් අඩු වෙන්න පුළුවන්. අපි අර සාමාන්‍යයෙන් කියන්නේ මෙයා නම් risk එකක් අරගෙන ඕන දෙයක් කරන්න කැමතියි කියලා. Right? So there are people who like to take risks. ඒක fail වෙන්න තියෙන chance එක ගොඩක් වැඩි වුණත් risk එක ගත්තම එන return එක වැඩි නම් there are people who like to take risk and take any kind of a decision. Those people we call it as risk seekers. Right? Then classical parameter කට්ටිය how risk seekers. No මතක තියාගන්න දුන්නා. ඒ කියන්නේ අතුලට ගන්නත් පුළුවන් නැති වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. මේ chance එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒවත් මම මේ risk එක අරන් පොඩ්ඩක් නිදාගෙන ඉමීට class එකට එනවා. එතකොට those are the risk seekers. දැන් ඇතුළට ගත්තොත් හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. එළියේ තිබ්බොත් තමයි ප්‍රශ්නේ. දැන් මම ඇතුළට ගත්තා. So they took that particular risk and they have become successful. So the opposite side, risk seeker ge anik patta. Risk averse. Risk averse decision makers acts on the assumptions that the worst outcome might occur. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි සාමාන්‍ය decisions ගත්තී අපි හිතනවානේ මම මේක කරොත් වෙන්න තියෙන නරකම දේ මොකක්ද? මේක ලොකුම risk seeker කෙනෙක් වෙනවා. එන්න. Right? So when we are going to take one particular decision, normally ඒ කියන්නේ risk seeker කෙනෙක් කියන්නේ හැමදාම යා risk seeker කෙනෙක් විදිහට වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Right? In different situations, we might become risk seekers in some situations we are becoming a risk averse person. In some situations, we are taking decisions like, if I do this, what is the worst thing that can be happen? If I decision ගන්නවා මම මේක කරොත් මොකක්ද වෙන්න තියෙන නරකම දේ. එහෙම හිතලා අපි ඒක නොකරේ. Right? So those are the risk averse decision made. දැන් උදේ ලෙක්චර් එකට එද්දී අපි හිතනවා හරි 8යි කාල පහුවෙලා ආවොත් ගන්න එකක් නැහැ ක්ලාස් එක. ඒ නිසාම කලින්ම ගිහින් ඉන්න. Right? So those are the risk averse decision made. මම example එකක් කියනකොට මතක තියාගන්න. Right? So මේ කියන්නේ අපි worst outcome එක expect කරනවා කියලා නෙමෙයි යා. පටල ගන්න එපා. In risks averse people are not focusing on worst outcome. They are focusing on worst outcome and then they are going to take the decision. කියන්නේ මේ decision එකෙන් වෙන්න පුළුවන් නරක දෙයක් මොකක්ද කියලා හිතලා then they are going to take a proper decision, or sometimes they are not going to take the decision based on that particular worst outcome. Right? Okay, so in between that, those are the two extreme points. Right? In between, we have the risk neutral. Risk neutral people, they are not like to take risks, or they are not a risk averse. A decision maker is a risk neutral if they are concerned with what will be the most likely outcome. ඒගොල්ලෝ decision ගන්නේ වැඩිපුරම වෙන්න පුළුවන් මොකක්ද? Right? Based on the past experience, වැඩිපුරම වෙන්න පුළුවන් මොකක්ද කියන්නේ? මේක positive වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, negative වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, වැඩිපුරම වෙන්න පුළුවන් chance එක මොකක්ද? So they are focusing on that. So in this situation, we are focusing on the probabilities. Right? Right? So risk neutral people are always focusing on probabilities. How we can assign probabilities? Based on the experience and the informations that we have. Right? So they mainly focusing on probabilities. එතකොට අපි හිතමු there's a probability of achieving something. There's a probability of 60%. ඒක 60ක chance එකක් තියෙනවා මේක වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Therefore I'm going to do this. 50% අරගෙන මම කරන්නේ නැහැ මේක. 50% chance එකක් තියෙනවා. So I'm going to do this. So likewise, those are the three different risk preferences in organizations when we are going to take decisions. We are taking decisions either one of these situations. Right? එතකොට දැන් අපි ගන්න decision එකක් විදී අපි risk seeker කෙනෙක් විදියට decisions ගන්න පුළුවන්. After certain time, when we are going to take another decision, sometimes we might become the risk averse. Risk seeker ජීවිත කාලෙම risk seeker විදියට decision ගන්න නැහැ. Situation to situation it can be different. Right? Okay, so these are the three different risk preferences, and according to these three different risk preferences, we have different decision rules. Right? So these are the decision rules that we have. Maximax, maximin, minimax regret, and right. So we'll focus on these three first. So maximax, maximin, and minimax regret. So these are the risk according to three different risk preferences. These are the decision rules that we have. So first one. So if we take risk seekers, when they are going to take decisions, they are focusing on maximax decision rule, right? Then we have risk averse people. When risk averse people going to take decisions, they are focusing on maximin and minimax regret. When thinking එක. Right? So then if risk neutral people going to take decisions, they are focusing on expected values. Right? I'll explain these three things, how to calculate those things, right? So these are the three different risk preferences, and according to risk preferences, the decision rules. Right. So risk preferences and the decision rules. So here right. So here they have provided the possible investments for ABC PLC, and there are three different projects: project A, B, and C, and three different scenarios given. Probability is given, and NPV values they have provided. So now we are going to discuss about how to take decisions under those three different decision rules, right? So if we go with maximax decision rule, uh, here let me go. So in maximax decision rules, when we are going to take decisions, so we have to do this evaluation from this side to this side, right? මෙම අග ඉඳන් මුලට කියවන්න එපා, right? අග ඉඳන් මුලට evaluate කරන්න. So there are two words, right? So this is the first one, maximum. Maxi means maximum one. The second one also maximum. So out of these three situations, three projects, we have to select. First step is to select the maximum result. So if we go with this project A, these are the NPV values. In project A, we have 100, 60 and 20. Out of these three, the maximum result is 100, right? Then in project B, we have three different situations. Out of these three different situations, we have maximum result 120. Then project C, 80, 50 and 30, maximum result is 80. So that is the first step. So then second step is to select maximum results out of the selected highest ones. පළවෙනි step එකේ අපි maximum result එක select කරා. Situations තුනේම out of these three highest result, we have to select the maximum one. So out of these three, the highest one is 120. So if you are going to take the decision out of these three projects to select one under maximax decision rule, our project selection should be project B. Right? So සමහර වෙලාවට questions වලදී maximax decision rule එක use කරන්න කියලා දෙන්නේ නැහැ. They might ask, as you assume that you are a risk seeker and what is the decision that you are going to take. Then you should be able to identify if it is a risk seeker, decision rule is maximax. Based on the maximax, this is the thing that you have to clear. Right. Then make it ඇත්තටම මේ පළවෙනි පාර කරපු නිසා තමයි මේ step by step කියලා දුන්නේ. exam එකේදී maximax එකට මෙහෙම decision එකක් ගන්න තිබ්බොත් මෙහෙම කර කර ඉන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. Because here what is the first step we do? Select the maximum one. Maximum ඒවයිනොත් අපි තෝරන්නේ highest එක maximum එක. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙතන තියෙන highest එකනේ select කරන්නේ. steps දෙකකට කරාට අන්තිමට අපි කරන්නේ මේ situations 9ක් තියෙනවා. මේ 9ේම options 9ේම තියෙන highest එක තමයි select කරන්නේ. So exam එකේ time එක spend කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. If it is maximax, definitely you have to select the highest one out of these 9 options. Right? Okay, so that is the maximax. Then if we go with, okay, so this is risk seeker. So if the person is a risk averse person, so let's go with min decision rule. And there's another decision rule called minimax regret. We'll discuss that later. Minimax regret also coming under this, right? So here, if we go with maximin decision rule, so here also we have two words. First one, the minimum result, and here we have maximum one. So first what we have to do, we have to go with the minimum results. So in project A, the minimum one is 20. Project B minimum minus 10 and project C minimum is 30. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ තියෙන්නේ risk එක අඩුම results ටික. Right? So after the first step, the second one what we have to do? Selecting the maximum out of those selected minimum results, right? So here we have selected minimum results 20, minus 10 and 30. So making minus එක making lowest එක තෝරගත්තොත් it is a loss for us. So then what we have to do here, out of those minimum results, we have to select the maximum one. The maximum one is 30. So it means if the person is a risk averse person, they have to go with project C. Right? So that is how we are going to take decisions under maxi mean decision rule. So this is under risk averse. Maxi is coming under risk seeker. So those are the two extreme points. Then we have risk neutral. Risk neutral. What is the decision rule we are going to take decisions? Huh? Expected values, right? What are the expected values here? So here we can see values. Maybe in values, the values ටිකක් දීලා තියෙනවා. Expected values කියනවා. Expected values. It means here they have provided the probability. We can අපි මේක කොච්චරක් දුරට වෙයිද කියලා probability එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා. තමයි අපේ expectation. So this can be 100. 100 දුනාට මේක වෙන්න පුළුවන් probability එක තියෙන්නේ only 20%. That is the probability or our expected, right? This is the expected result. So once we multiply this 100 by 20%, that is becoming the expected values. 100 දුනාට මේක වෙන්න පුළුවන් chance එක තියෙන්නේ 120යි නා. Then this is 20. The 20 is the expected values. So the expected values කියන්නේ the values once we multiply it by the probability is given, it is becoming the expected value. Right? So now what we have to do is for all options, we have to identify the expected values under risk neutral situations. So here we have 100, 100 into 0.2. This is 20, right? Then 120 into 0.2, 24. Then 80 into 0.2, 16. Here 30, 40 and 25. Here 6 minus 3 and 9. So those are the expected values. ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගානක් හදද්දී ඕනනම් මේක expected value එක මෙහෙමම expected value table එකක් විදිහට calculate කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So once we calculate the expected values, then මෙතෙන්දී අපි decision එකක් ගන්න බෑනේ තාම. So we have different values here, expected values. What is the decision that we have to make? Either selecting project A, B or C. So what we have to do is we have to get the totals of project A expected values, project B expected values and project C expected values. So here we have 56 and 61, 15, 15. So those are the expected values that we have. So out of those expected values, we have to select the highest expected value. So out of these three, highest expected value is 61. It means under risk neutral situations, we are going to select project B. Okay. Here are the risk averse, risk neutral and risk taker decision rules එක තේරෙනවා. මේ විදිහටම ගණන් එන්නේ මේක ටික ටික ඇඩ්වාන්ස් වෙන එකයි මම මේක ඕකේද කියලා. clear? Right. May I another here, so they have provided the informations and The question they ask is which option should be selected when there is no perfect information. So there are three situations. No information, perfect information, and imperfect information. Information that you end up with information clear or perfect and there are no information. Now tell me, in this situation, out of those three, what is this? Perfect information, the imperfect information, the no information. No information at the yeah, information. Right? Is this perfect information or imperfect information? Perfect information or imperfect information? How we can decide whether it is perfect or imperfect? Perfect or imperfect? Yes. Wait, information එක බලලා කියන්න පුළුවන්. Perfect or imperfect? Perfect, imperfect. Perfect, imperfect. Informations, certain informations, perfect and imperfect. Perfect and imperfect. Perfect. Perfect is given for that. Perfect. Okay. Perfect කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? අද අපිට perfect කියපු එකේ මට ඉන්ඩිකේෂන් perfect කියන්නේ කොහොමද? Perfect. So this is not a no information situation. That is okay. But the information, you know, but there are no perfect information, right? Perfect නෑ කියලා කියන්නේ ඒ කියන්නේ imperfect කියලා කියන්නේ. So here we have informations, but those informations, if we have these things, what are these? Probabilities. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ informations අපිට තිබ්බට අපි කියනවා මේක වෙන්න පුළුවන් 130ක් තමයි මේ situation. In this situation, this can be happen only 50%. අපිට sure එකක් නැහැ මේක 100% වෙනවද නැද්ද කියලා. That is why we assign probabilities. If we assign probabilities, if the informations are not perfect, it can be happen, or sometimes it may not. So this is, if there are any kind of a probabilities assigned, that is a imperfect information. Informations are available, but it is not perfect. මේ ටික නැත්තම් we can say the informations are perfect. We can directly take the decision. දැන් මේ ටික නැතුව මේ informations ටික තියෙනවා නම් we can take decision. Right? So this is imperfect situation. So if someone asks which option should be selected when there is no perfect information. No perfect information means what? Imperfect information. What is the decision rule that we have to take? There are three decision rules. Out of those three, what we have to do? That may be clear at the risk seeker, the risk averse, the risk neutral, the dealer method. Decision rules dealer method. Which option that we have to select? If there is no perfect information, risk. Select करेगा. Risk neutral. आइए. In risk neutral, we are focusing on probabilities, right? Probabilities දීලා තියෙන්නම make a perfect නැති නිසා. So then we have to select the risk neutral and do the calculation. Then make it the risk neutral විතරක් කරන්න එපා. So once you do this particular calculation, first identify which option we have to select under risk seeker, then risk averse, and after that risk neutral. තුනටම හදන්න බා. Make information dito din ani pa kada. Paल्याrin ko na yan. Kasi twice we have can. So here, if it is a risk seeker, we have to use the max decision rule, right? That make information. We have to go through the projects. So project A, the highest one is 10,000. Project B, highest one is 4,000, and project C, 2,000. Out of those highest results, the maximum one is 10,000. Project A. Right? So if the person is a risk averse person, maximum decision rule, minimum result, project A minimum result is minus 4,000, 0, and 1,000. Out of those three, the highest one is 1,000. So the project is project C. Right? Then risk neutral situation, we have to calculate the expected values. So expected values, you have to multiply these values by 0.3. So 4,000 into 0.3, 0 into 0.3, and 1,000 into 0.3. And these values by 0.5. And these values by 0.2. And when you are going to get the totals, totals right? So here we have to get the totals project wise, and out of those three projects, we have to get the selection. So project A total, project B, and project C. I think project here the B 2,550, project B. So this is the highest one. Right? Right. So here we have another calculation. So there's a person called John, and he has a pastry shop, right? Pastry shop owner, and he's selling the products to the off the street customers. And he has the experience in the field as well. I make a මෙහෙම දීලා දී experience එක තියනවා කියලා කියන්නේ because of assigning probabilities. Without experience and without information, we can't assign probability. And they have provided demand per day 100, 200 and 300 buns, and probability is provided. Selling price of a product is $5 and the variable cost is $2. Selling price එකයි variable cost එකයි ඉඳලා දිනවා කියන්නේ මොකක්ද මේ calculate කරන්න කියන්නේ contribution, right? So this is one situation that previously we had only this kind of situation, and then we have to evaluate the maximax, maximin ඔය ටික evaluate කරන්න තියෙන්නේ මේ වගේ situation එකකින් තමයි අපි කලින් කරේ මේ වගේ එකක්. But here we have more informations provided. One of the officers from the conference center contacted John and offered him a contract to supply buns every day to a conference center. දැන් මේක වෙනම කතාවක්. අර ඉස්සෙල්ලා කිව්වේ එයාගේ shop එකක් තියෙනවලු එයා පාරේ යන මිනිස්සුන්ට 100, 200, 300 different options for their selling those buns, right? And same time he has offered a contract from the conference center, and John is able to produce 350 buns in one particular day, and John agreed to supply buns to the conference center, and he need to sign a contract of definite supply. Contract of definite supply means if they sign the agreement, either they have to provide, there are three options, 100, 150 and 200. මේ options තුනෙන් අනිවාර්යෙන් එකකට produce කරන්න ඕන. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි 120 produce කරා කියලා, if we produce 120, we can't provide 120. Right? That should be either 100, 150 or 200. Right? Okay. So then if agree to supply 200 buns, they can take more profits. 100 buns now capacity based on, because they can produce 315 one particular day. Now there are two different situations. One situation is they are selling products to the street customer. That is one situation. Another situation, that person is providing those products to the conference center. That means situations දෙකම එක තැනකට දාගෙන අර විදියට අපි table එකක් ඉස්සෙල්ලා හදාගන්නවා. So previously that the table with the NPV values, everything was given. මේක දීලා නැහැ, අපි හදාගෙන තමයි next we have to evaluate. Only ඉස්සෙල්ලා හදාගන්න. So now we have two situations, right? One situation is conference center, another situation is the off-street customer. එතකොට මේ situations දෙක දෙපැත්තට දාගෙන, then there are three different options in both situations. Here we have 100, 150 and 200. Then next situation we have 100, 200 and 300. Right? So here this is how we have to do this. We have two situations of the street customers. These are the options that available. It is 100, 200 and 300. And the conference center 100, 150 and 200. Right? Then make a feel කරගන්නේ කොහොමද? Here we have 9 options. Earlier also we had those 9 options. මේ options 9ට එන්න ඕන මොනවද? It should be either profit or something in terms of values should be there to evaluate the situation. Right? What are these? Is this value or the units? These are the number of units that they have provided. Now, first thing what we have to do when we are going to fill these 9 options, we have to convert these units to the value. Units ටික values වලට convert කරන්න නම් මොනවද අපිට available information? Selling price and variable cost they have provided. It means we can calculate the contribution, right? So if we go through the informations, here they have provided in off the street customers situation, we have $5 and $2. So off the street customers here, they have selling price of $5 and variable cost of $2. Then they have the contribution of $3, right? In conference center, here කියලා දෙන්න. බලන්න කීයක් තියෙන කියලා. This offer agreed to pay $3 per bar. So then the selling price should be $3. So here selling price 3, variable cost how much? Variable cost එකක් එතන දීලා නැහැ. අරකට එක change කරනවා variable cost. Variable cost means directly related to our production. ඒකේ කියලා නැහැ මේගොල්ලෝ වලට දෙන්න එක product එකක් අනිත් ගොල්ලෝ වලට දෙන්න එක product එකක් කියලා නැහැ. Same product they are producing, then same variable cost will be applicable for this one as well. So the contribution we have $1 here, right? Then මොකද කරන්නේ? So we have to fill these 9 options in terms of values. How to convert to values? So here we have 100 number of units. 100 we have to multiply by this is the per unit contribution. Then we have to multiply 100 by 3, right? So in this situation, 100 into 3. In this situation, 100 into 3 plus, here we have 100 into 1. Then here 300 plus 100, we have 400. In this one, we have again 100 into 3 plus 150 into 1. Then here we have 450. This one again 100 into 3 plus 200 into 1, 500 and 500 there. Then again here 200 into 3 plus 100 into 1. 700. 200 into 3 plus 150 into 1. अभी इधर टिकट फिल करके हमें अब इस तरह में इवैल्यूएट करना है में first we have to fill this from the information. I got it here and here नहीं कितना कैसे हो I got बोला क्या I किस तरह में भी जाती है
Amanda, riuscito a fare una coppia che aveva di tutto. Bil. Fatelo di lui, di lui.
Right. So here, in this option onwards, there is a issue that you have to consider, because here there are 200 units from this side, and this side also we have 200 units. Altogether 400. මේ අනිත් හැම එකේම 400 or ඊට වැඩි තමයි තියෙන්නේ. If it is 400, in that particular question they have mentioned for one day they can produce only 350. But 350 නම් මෙතන අපිට 400 produce කරන්න බෑ. Then what we have to do? 50 we have to reduce. Reduce කරන්නේ මොන පැත්තෙන්ද? Is that off street customers or the conference center? අහක් අඩු කරන්නේ. දෙපැත්තෙන් මොන පැත්තෙන්ද අඩු කරන්නේ? Conference center. ඇයි? Contribution එක මෙතෙන්දි consider කරන්න බෑ. Because there are two reasons. One reason is they have mentioned that they have to agree to a definite supply. So they agree වෙලා තියෙන විදිහට either 100, 150 or 200. ඒක නෙමෙයි main reason එක. That is one reason. The main reason we have to reduce from this side, because මේ පැත්තේ risk එකක් තියෙනවා. There are no risk if we produce 100, 150 or 200. ඒ මිනිස්සු බනිස් කරනවා නැද්ද කියලා අදාළ නැහැ. Conference center එකේ they will purchase entire products. මේක එහෙම නෙවෙයි. In off the street customers, they have mentioned here 100, 200 and 300 they have probability. මේ ටික හැදුවට මේක විකුණන්න තියෙන chance එක සමහර වෙලාවට 100 වුණාට it can be 20%. So even though it is 200, it can be 50%. So therefore here we have probabilities. Right? Then we have to reduce the production from the high risk option. So the risk එක මේකේ තියෙන්නේ of the street customer. So here what we have to do is we have to reduce 50. Then from this we have to get 150 into 1 plus 200 into 150 into 3 plus 200 into 1. So this is 650. So in this option 300 plus 100 again 400. We have to reduce 50 again. We have to reduce from this side. Then 250 into 3 plus 100 into 1. 850. So next one 300 plus 150, 450. So අපි 100 අඩු කරන්න ඕන from this side. So here this is 200 into 3 plus 150 into 1. in 750. Then this one we have 500, 300 plus 200, 500. Then we have to reduce 150. Then here 150 into 3 plus 200 into 1. $650.
Hello, sir. Hello. Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Emang katakan kan emang Openingan tahun kerja apa? Right, okay. Begini kan ini? Enak ini? Right, so here up to this particular point, so in these options are you can easily take, but when it comes to this option onwards, you need to consider about the production in one particular day. මේ අපි එක දවසක කරන production එක තමයි focus කරලා තියෙන්නේ. So here in each options that I have marked here, this is less than 350, right? So they have provided in the question itself, they mentioned for one particular day, they can produce only 350 buns. That is the maximum capacity. So if we take option wise, if we go with this option, here 100 and again here 100, 200. So in second option, here 100 and again 150, 250, well below the 350 maximum capacity. So this point onwards, right? These options, if we take the totals, total production, not the values, total production, if we take this option, total production is 200 plus here we have again 200, then it is 400. So the 400 we can't produce because the maximum production is 350. So then we have to reduce 50 from this particular option. 50 units adu karanakota we have to consider the risk. So conference center order, there are no risk. If we produce 100, 150 or 200, they will purchase everything. But of the street demand, they have mentioned the probabilities as well. If there are probabilities, it means even though they produce 100, 200 or 300, sometimes they may able to sell this or sometimes not, right? Make a වෙන්න පුළුවන් chance එක තියෙන 120යි. Here only 50%. Here 30%. Make a වැඩි වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් අඩු වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, but generally this is the probability that they have assigned. So therefore, this side we have some kind of a risk. Therefore, we have to reduce the production from this off the street customers demand. So then here we have total 400. From this we have to reduce 50. Then we can achieve the 350 maximum capacity. So that 50 we have to reduce from this. So මෙතනින් ගන්නේ 200 නෙමෙයි, only 150. 150 into 3 plus 200 into 1. In this option also, in this one, 300 plus 100, again 400. We have to reduce 50. We have to reduce the 50 from this option. So then 250 plus, sorry, into 3 plus 100 into 1. Here we have 300 plus 150. 450 we have to reduce 100. So 100 අඩු කරන්න ඕනේ මෙතනින්. Then we have 200 into 3 plus 150 into 1. In the last option, 300 plus 200, 500. Then we have to reduce 150. 150. Once we reduce 150, the balance amount also 150 into 3 plus 200 into 1. So those are the values that we have in 9 options. Right? So still we did not evaluate the maximax, minimax regret or whatever. We did not evaluate. This is the information table that we have prepared. අර අපිට කලින් හදලා දුන්න table එක තමයි අපි හදාගන්නේ. So out of these 9 options, we have to select under different categories: maximax, maximin, and expected values, and also minimax regret. Okay. Right, okay. So next week we'll do the calculations for maximax, minimax, and can request, and then we can start decision trees. Assignment එක පටන් ගත්තද? ඒ assignment එකේ ටිකක් වැඩි ඒ නිසා මුලින්ම පටන් ගන්න. අපි මොකද කරන්නේ කියලා ගන්න. Right, okay. So we'll stop from here.